Bruno Mars sparks controversy over IG post edit. Debate over Hsinchu Children's Hospital expansion. Taiwan textile giant shocks employees with sudden closure. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris debate. Protesters storm Mexico's Senate after ruling party wins votes. Former Canadian fashion mogul sentenced to 11 years. California major fire forces thousands to evacuate. Viral Australian breaker ranked world number 1.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Thursday, September 12th, and here are your top stories. In local news, Bruno Mars performed 2 concerts in Kaohsiung on September 7th and 8th, drawing over 100,000 fans and setting a new attendance record. After the concert, he thanked Taiwan on Instagram, but later edited the post, changing Taiwan to Kaohsiung and removing the Taiwan flag emoji, which caused surprise among fans. Chen Zihan, spokesperson for the Taiwan People's Party, accused the former Hsinchu mayor of increasing the McKay Children's Hospital floor area ratio from 250% to 450%, drawing criticism. She claimed it favored certain parties, but Chancellor Liu Congxian defended the decision, saying it aimed to provide comprehensive maternity and pediatric care for children from birth to 18 in the region. Taiwan's Datong Textile, a major textile company founded over 50 years ago, announced its sudden closure on October 29th and mass layoffs. Employees unaware of the decision protest after learning they might not receive their final pay. And in global news, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris met for the first time on the presidential debate stage in Philadelphia on Tuesday night. They may have shaken hands, but they did not hit it off. In a fiery 90 minutes, Harris frequently rattled the former president with personal attacks that threw him off message and raised the temperature of the highly anticipated contest. Her point digged at the size of his rally crowds, his conduct during the Capitol riots, and the officials who served in his administration and have since become outspoken critics of his campaign repeatedly left Trump on the back foot.
The pattern for much of this debate was Harris goading her Republican rival into making extended defenses of his past conduct and comments. He gladly obliged, raising his voice at times and shaking his head. If debates are won and lost based on which candidate best capitalizes on their strengths and defends or deflects on areas of weakness, Tuesday night tilted in favor of the vice president. A Snap CNN poll of voters watching said that Harris performed better, and betting markets said the same. This is a snapshot that could be momentary, but Harris's tactic of putting Trump on the defensive was clear early in the evening when the topics covered were the economy and abortion.
Hundreds of protesters broke into Mexico's Senate on Tuesday as lawmakers weighed a contentious plan to overhaul the country's judiciary, forcing the body to take a temporary recess for the safety of the senators. The shutdown came just hours after Mexico's ruling party, Morena, secured the votes needed to push through the proposal after one member of an opposition party switched sides to support it. This move, along with other political maneuvering ahead of the vote on the plan championed by outgoing president, fueled even more outrage following weeks of protests by judicial employees and law students.
Critics and observers say the plan, in which all judges would be elected, could threaten judicial independence and undermine the system of checks and balances. Some protesters entered the Senate chambers in an effort to block the vote after claiming that lawmakers were not listening to their demands. The protesters broke through the door of the Senate chamber, pushing aggressively and using pipes and chains. At least one person fainted during the incident. "The judiciary isn't going to fall," yelled the protesters, waving Mexican flags and signs against the overhaul. They were joined by a number of opposition senators as they chanted in the chamber. Others outside the Senate roared when newscasters announced the body was taking a recess.
Former Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygard was sentenced Monday in a Toronto courtroom to 11 years in prison for sexually assaulting 4 women. The judge called the 83-year-old a sexual predator. Justice Robert Goldstein said Nygard showed no empathy for his victims, who were all attacked in his company's offices. The judge said one of the several aggravating factors in the case was the fact that one of the victims was just 16 years old at the time. Nygaard was found guilty of 4 counts of sexual assault in November, but acquitted of a 5th count as well as 1 count of forcible confinement.
He faces additional sexual assault and sex trafficking charges in Montreal, Winnipeg, and the U.S., all of which he denies. Nygaard, once the head of a women's fashion empire, arrived at the courthouse in a wheelchair and declined to speak. His sentence will amount to just under 7 years, accounting for time served, with parole eligibility in 2 years. The charges date from the 1980s to the mid-2000s. During the trial, 5 women, whose identities are protected, testified they were lured to Nygaard's Toronto headquarters under false pretenses, where 4 were sexually assaulted in a top-floor suite.
Raging wildfires in California and Nevada has forced the mandatory evacuation of thousands of homes as forecasters warned of record heat in the West over the next few days. The fire had consumed 20,552 acres as of Sunday, after igniting at the base of San Bernardino Mountains on Thursday. Authorities urged residents in several areas to evacuate as the massive blaze sent bright red flames and thick plumes of smoke into the sky. More than 1,800 fire personnel are battling the wildfire, which was 3% contained as of Monday morning.
Thunderstorm winds are causing very erratic behavior in the blaze, and vegetation is critically dry. Smoke remains an issue for both firefighters and residents, and afternoon thunderstorms have the potential to spark new fires. As the flames approach dangerously close, the county sheriff's department has announced mandatory evacuation orders for about 4,800 homes in the Running Springs and Arrowbear Lake areas. The line fire is highly active and spreading through receptive fuels. Currently, 36,328 structures are threatened, including single and multi-family homes, commercial buildings, and other minor structures. Firefighters have been successful in protecting homes from the flames.
Australian Olympic breakdancer Rachel Gunn, who went viral during the Paris Games, have been ranked number 1 in the world by the sport's governing body. The World Dance Sports Federation released its world ranking list on Tuesday, stating that Gunn secured the top spot after winning first place at the 2023 Oceania Continental Championships. The ranking has puzzled many, some of whom took to social media to point out that the 37-year-old B-girl, known as Ray Gunn, did not receive a single point from the Olympic judges.
The federation clarified that the ranking is updated based on each athlete's top 4 performances within the past 12 months, and that points earned in competitions are valid for 52 weeks from the performance date. The Paris Games and the Olympic qualifier events did not contribute to the ranking. In alignment with the Olympic qualification system, ranking events were intentionally not held between December 31, 2023, and the Paris 2024 Olympics. This strategic scheduling allowed athletes to focus solely on the final phase of their Olympic qualification without the added pressure of additional ranking events.
The answer for yesterday was B, advocates. Environmental advocates are urging the government to take immediate action to combat climate change. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of Donald Trump and Kamala Harris debate. Number 1, rattle. 使紧张不安. The sudden noise rattled him, making him jump out of his chair. Number 2, outspoken. 坦率的. She is known for being outspoken about her political views, never hesitating to speak her mind. Number 3, deflect. 偏离,转向. The ball deflected off the goalpost and missed the net. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comments section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wei Li, your host. I'll see you next time.